You lighten up the load that you bear. Oh, with all the trouble and sorrow in the world, it seems like the least we can do is take that smile into the street and share it with everybody you meet every day. I wanna shake somebody's hand every day, every day, every day, every day. I wanna make somebody know the things they can't, that they can. Yes, they can. Every day. I wanna try to show my brothers and my sisters that I wanna help them along the way. Every day, every day. They're lost, I wanna show them a sunshine. They're tossed, I wanna throw them a lifeline. I wanna reach out my hand, a hand to hold. Oh yeah, and let them know there's a light down at the end of the road. Every day I wanna shake somebody's hand. Every day, every day, every day, every day. I wanna make somebody know the things they can't, that they can. Yes, they can. Every day I wanna try to show my brothers and my sisters that I wanna help them along the way. Every day, every day, I wanna help them along the way. Every day. Aloha. Welcome to Unity Church of Hawaii. I'm just a little bit emotional right now because he did such a great job with that unexpectedly. Thank you. Amen. So thank you for joining us at Unity Church of Hawaii this morning. Please stand as you are able and let's sing about celebrating life. There are many ways to live your life, so many roads to choose. You decide the way to go, and here's a choice you can make. Celebrate life. Celebrate love. Celebrate all the gifts that come from God within. And surely then you will see. When you celebrate life, it's all you want it to be.
Hey, Kauai, welcome to Unity Church of Hawaii. where we foster personal transformation, nurture creative relationships, and demonstrate compassionate sacred service. My name is Reverend Leonard Thomas, and it is my pleasure, great pleasure, to be of service this morning. Unity is an all-inclusive spiritual, educational, healing movement of practical Christianity. And in this all-inclusiveness, we honor and respect all of the paths that lead to God, to a greater understanding of God, and also discovering truth and living that truth as we know it to be. And one of the great ways that us Unitics use, a tool that we use to get a greater understanding of truth and God, is the use of affirmations. The affirmation is a statement of truth that you speak. And when you speak it, you give the power of your voice out into yourself first and then out into the community as well, raising consciousness. And this is the month of October, and from our co-founder Charles Fillmore teachings, the 12 powers. Each of us, all beings, have 12 powers. It is that pattern of perfection, and there are 12 faculties. And October represents the power of zeal. It is represented by orange, of which I have no trouble finding in my closet. The disciple is Simon, and the power is located in the base of the neck. It gives you the appeal. It's a zest for living. So I thought a very appropriate affirmation today would be one from Mr. Fillmore. In his 94th year, he said this affirmation. So would you please, with velocity, speak after me. I fairly sizzle, with zeal and enthusiasm, and leap forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Let's take a breath into that, if you will. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mr. Fillmore hit that one out of the park. Now I think we should bring that particular affirmation into expression right here and now by leaping forth, or standing as you are able, and with zeal and enthusiasm, please greet those nearby you with love.
Please remain standing as you're able, and let's sing our opening hymn, Open the Eyes of My Heart. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. High and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your
Thank you, Zamar, and it's so good to see all of you. I am Reverend Tim Lytle. I'm the senior minister here at Unity Church of Hawaii. And what a joy to be with all of you this morning. We welcome you, and we have a very special person here. Of course, every single one of you is that. And we have a special speaker. Kumu Ramsey Tom is here with us today. And if you don't know, Kumu Ramsey Tom is a spiritual teacher who helps us to understand spirituality through some of the traditions of Hawaiian spirituality and culture. He is a consultant with businesses regarding Hawaiian culture. He also helps people to understand about the balance in life as a coach, a teacher, and an extraordinary person. We had the opportunity to have about an hour and a half to just sit down and talk this week, and we love you and we welcome you here, Kumu. Thank you for being here. And so he will be giving this special message today, but there are a number of other special folks here. Maybe it's your first time here or first time in a long time. And so we especially welcome you. We have gifts for you. We have a kukui nut lei, which represents the light that you are, because you are the light of the world. And we have a packet of information about Unity Church of Hawaii, and in that packet is a free pass for our breakfast. We have an amazing breakfast over here, and so after the service, if you would like, you can head over there and get a free breakfast. And you may say, oh, I didn't know. I scheduled something right after church. No worries. I've got a deal for you. Come back next week and use your free pass, because we know this is just the first of many times that you are going to be here, and so we say to you, welcome home. In fact, let's all say that together. Welcome home. So if this is your first time or first time in a long time, would you please stand so that we can honor you? All right, thank you. Thank you. Right here, right here. Oh, it's so good to have you here. Thank you. And we're going to give you a blessing. So let's rub our hands, get that energy going, and just soak up this energy. Repeat after me. We bless you. We love you. And we know who you really are. You are the light and presence of God. Here on this planet to do amazing things. And we are here to support you, to love you, and to celebrate you. Welcome to Unity. Let's give them some love. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And, you know, sometimes people, I've sometimes gotten the feedback that sometimes people get a little scared when I say, we know who you really are. But what we mean is we really see the Christ presence that you are, you know? So, and we have wonderful people who are love streaming. They're love streaming on our website. They're watching us on the New Thought channel. They're watching us on our YouTube channel. Let's all give them a shaka back here. They're on Alelo TV. They're watching us in all sorts of ways. And we welcome you to this loving spiritual ohana, knowing that there is no distance between us and you, because there's no distance in spirit. There's no separation in spirit. Where you are, God is. Where we are, God is. So we are one. You are part of this loving Ohana. You are part of this sacred family. And we welcome you here. And we send you our love and our blessings. Let's all give them some love. We welcome you this morning. Okay, it's such a joy, and I believe that Reverend Levitt has us queued up for some amazing news. Here's Reverend Levitt with the news.
Actually, it's the reason why you woke up this morning. The announcements. Please keep your bulletin handy. This afternoon, right here in the chapel at 1 p.m., it is Community Talks. It is facilitated by Juliet Carlson, Mary Paulson, and with Rev Tim. Please come and join the conversation. 1 p.m., right here in the chapel, Community Talks. Tomorrow is Discoverers Day. Outstanding. And that means that our church offices will be closed, giving the staff a well-deserved day off. Tomorrow, the office is closed. However, even though it's Discoverers Day, Unity, all believers in a faith ministry, will be meeting in the chapel at 6:30. And they're going to present My Favorite Church, Prison, with Reverend Tony Barron. My Favorite Church, The Prison, with Reverend Tony Barron. She is going to come and speak of the joy that she has had in her prison ministry for 30 years. So please come and join the group. It's an outstanding time. And now I believe that we're going to talk a little bit about the 80th celebration. And I'm wondering if there's anybody that knows anything about that. I'm just trying to think if there's... It's Joanne Adams.
We are now in week 2 of Makahiki. Last week we had the opening with Reverend Tim. Thank you very much. This week we had a picnic, and I think we've got slides up there. As some of you, we played several Makahiki-style games, including their version of tug of war. We modified a croquet set to do their version of bowling. And we had promised that we would not do the spear throwing among the chief. However, Rita and I, once we had water balloons in our hand, could not resist the temptation. So I am proud to announce that even the 3 balloons that landed on him did not pop, so he is eligible to remain the chief for the following year. Hooray. And of course, we've already talked about how Ramsey Tom, we just know he'll do a fabulous job, so thank you very much. This upcoming week, we'll just have the one event, Friday the 13th. Don't be afraid. Come and sing with Bing. We're going to show Waikiki Wedding. I'll have tickets for those of you who haven't picked them up down in Connection Central. Then we have one other thing. We're starting a small kind donation drive. In the pews, you will see a happy 80th anniversary. What we're hoping is that people would be interested in spending $8 per name. We'll compile a list, and on the 29th, when we honor our past, it'll be all those who want to wish the church a happy 80th anniversary. Or you can do it in honor of someone that's still living, that is either still active in the church or may no longer be active in the church, or in memory of for those who have transitioned. So if you're interested in participating, you can either complete this envelope or see me in Connection Central. Thank you very much.
Well, I want to share with you just a couple of other things. One is about our Malama Pono group. Malama Pono means to take care. And this group will hold all of us in prayer, will hold special requests. So if you know of someone who is going through a special challenge, a special time in their lives that is a challenging time, I invite you to let us know if something's going on in your life. You can call the front office, or if there's someone that's been missing in action, someone that hasn't been around for a while that you would like for us to touch base with, we would like to do that as well. And as we prepare for our morning prayer, I want to let you all know that this coming Saturday we will be celebrating the life of Eric Butler. Eric Butler just joined our church recently. He's been a part of this church for quite a while, but he just officially joined. He was on the Big Island to work for the cause of finding safe space for the homeless, because with the World Peace Plan of which he was the director, when he came back, he suddenly collapsed. They could not revive him. So we are holding the family in our prayers. Our licensed Unity teacher, Johanna Kelly, will be leading the service. I'll be there and adding support to that. But that service, the viewing will be at 10, viewing of his life. And the service itself will start at 11. So if you would like to be here to be of support, it will also be live streamed. So please remember all of that family in our prayers. And I just, this week has been a challenging week. It has seemed like a very long week with all the things that are going on locally, the things that are going on in our world. I'm thinking of what has been happening in Las Vegas. I was in shock when I heard of what was happening in Las Vegas. Life can change so quickly. My wife and I were here about 8 o'clock a couple of nights ago. We were up on the second floor, and I saw a car speeding down the street at about 80 miles an hour, and then saw them go into the one-way traffic of Montserrat. And I'm thinking, what is that person doing? And that person made their transition at that moment. Life can change so quickly. We need to live into every moment knowing that the presence of God is here with us. And we hold our sister church in Nigeria in our prayers, the people in Puerto Rico as they continue to recover from the hurricane, Mexico with the earthquake. There's so many things. But we know that wherever we are, God is. There is never any absence of God. God is never diminished, divided, diluted. God is always completely, fully present. So I invite you to get comfortable in your seats. Take in and out a slow, deep breath. And in this moment, we know there is only one power and one presence living as our lives and as the universe. God the good, omnipotence. Spirit, we open ourselves to this presence right now. We open our hearts. We open our hearts to see the truth, as Eric Butterworth said, to see rightly. We know with the people in Las Vegas, healing and wholeness for all of those affected. The people of Puerto Rico, Mexico, people here in our community that are grieving, people all around the world who may be struggling to know the truth. Spirit, we know that the truth lives in us and that this truth sets us free. And for just a few moments of silence, we connect, Spirit, with this truth, lifting the intentions of our heart. Spirit, we are grateful to know that wherever we are, you are, that there actually is no us and you, it's all one. We know that presence anoints this service right now, anoints Kumu Ramsey Tom in the message that he will bring, anoints Zamar in their singing, anoints each person who is present here, who is watching, who is love streaming. All of us are anointed and blessed. We give thanks for this presence that never leaves us. And for all of this, we give thanks. And we say together, and so it is. Amen. Let us now go deeper as we sing ancient words and then say the Lord's Prayer. Holy words, long preserved for our walk in this world, they resound with God's own heart. Oh, let the ancient words impart. Words of life, words of hope, give us strength, help us cope in this world, where'er we roam. Ancient words will guide us home. Ancient words ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. Holy words of our faith, handed down to this age, came to us through sacrifice. Oh, heed the faithful words of Christ. Holy words, long preserved for our walk in this world, they resound with God's own heart. Oh, let the ancient words impart. Ancient words ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. On the monitor are the words of the Lord's Prayer. And let us say these words together, connecting with the energy of these words. Together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen and amen. Ancient words ever true, changing me and changing you. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. We have come with open hearts. Oh, let the ancient words impart. And as we now prepare for the daily word, the word is healing. We have been focusing on healing for several weeks here in our Ohana healing. And here's the affirmation. I relax into the infinite stream of divine life, and I am healed. Let's say that affirmation together. I relax into the infinite stream of divine life, and I am healed. If you would just get comfortable in your seats. There is a universal flow of wholeness, an inexhaustible and irrevocable stream of life in which I live, move, and have my being. As I close my eyes and relax into the remembrance of this truth, I feel the sweet ecstasy of bathing in divine love. The indwelling presence of God is my true identity. As waves of well-being gently wash over me, they draw out any anxiety, sadness, fear, and all beliefs of lack and limitation that have been cluttering my perception. My mind and heart are restored to the awareness of divine life. Love heals. Love heals. Love heals. Love frees me from any suffering that I might have been experiencing in mind, body, or spirit. Love restores me to a deep faith in God's infinite presence, power, and peace. Resting in love's curative, life-giving waters, I am refreshed and revitalized. I am healed. I am healed. I am healed. And our scripture comes from Psalms 30, verse 2. O Lord my God, you have healed me. Again, our affirmation. I relax into the infinite stream of divine life, and I am healed. I invite you to stay relaxed in your seat. If you would like, close your eyes or relax your gaze. Take in and out a slow, deep breath. We know in this moment the presence. We feel the presence right here. Whether we are love streaming from home, whether we are present right here, we know the presence of love, the presence of healing, the presence of peace. And we hear the words of our master teacher, peace, be still. Peace, be still. And as we experience that inner stillness, as we take that 18-inch journey from our head to our hearts, we allow our hearts to open, to expand. And here we experience what Jesus called the kingdom of heaven within us. For a minute of silence, we commune with this sacred presence within. We know that where we are, God is. And we know where God is, there is health, wholeness, peace, love, oneness, and the anointing of Spirit. And we know that anointing and that presence abides right here and right now. And we are forever grateful. And so it is. And so we let it be. Amen and amen.
For every wounded soul, every heart that's broken, for every falling tear, every hope unspoken, for every painful past, every crippling fear. The healer is here. Oh yes, the healer is here. For every suffering child, every pain and sorrow, for every troubled mind, there is hope for tomorrow. For everyone in need, you're the one God holds so dear. The healer is here. Oh yes, the healer is here. The healer is here, who is found in transformation, seen when we allow release, known to us through love and peace. The healer is here, and by God's love we're healed. The healer is here. The healer is here. I'm so glad you're here today. Listen in your heart and hear God say, when you say, I have the power within me, I am the one who sets me free. When I feel sickness and the strain, I allow God's love to heal the pain, cast away sorrows and the shame. Allow the Spirit to know your name. The healer is here, who is found in transformation, seen when we allow release, known to us through love and peace. The healer is here, and by God's love we're healed. The healer is here. You know, the healer is here within your heart. The healer is here. The healer is here.
Wasn't that great? Open another hand. I really needed to hear that this morning. It's, I feel better already. Aloha mai kako. Aloha. Aloha. Good to see you all. Just looking at you all is healing. It's wonderful. For those of you we haven't met, aloha. My name's Kumu Ramsey, Ramsey Tom. And Reverend Tim, thanks for having me back. And all of you. Especially during this very special celebration that this Ohana is going through at this time. And I have to agree, we had a wonderful chat this week and opportunity to really get to really explore where we're going, what's happening. And I asked Reverend Tim that. I said, as you move forward, what does the island look like? What does that destination look like? And how can these words this morning, the message, really help in kind of helping to get there? And so we had a wonderful time. Thank you for that time together. Makahiki, this very special time of year in Hawaii, as you're celebrating it, many of us know and hear the word most often at the end or the beginning of the year. We say, Hau'oli makahiki ho. Have you heard that before? Hau'oli makahiki ho. Hau'oli, to happy, to be happy about it. The word ho means to repeat, renew, brand new. Makahiki, this notion of a new year, that's one definition of it. Hau'oli makahiki ho. But today we're going to talk about makahiki, the time of re. Everyone say that, the time of re. Yeah, because as we all know, there's so many things that we revisit, redo. And today I'm going to recycle my slides. Recycle and reuse. And repeat some of the messages that we've shared here with one another. Because sometimes it's important to know where we come from, to know where we are, but also to know where we're going. But before we continue this presentation, I'd like to revisit this slide. I think one of the first times I shared some time with you, I had taken a walk in the morning. This is over at Cocoa Head. And I was asking for some guidance because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to say. And I looked up behind me. This was an early morning walk. And this is what I saw. This was the sun rising over Cocoa Head. Wasn't that beautiful? And it reminded me that, that even in the darkest moments, there is light. The sun will rise again. Now, whether or not we're aware or open and prepared to receive that and to see that, that's the question. And so, as we start this new journey together, I want to say happy birthday. Hau'oli lahanau. Give yourselves a hand. 80 years of makahiki. And interesting, the number 8 in Hawaiian is hevalu. And there's a concept in the practices of to see the world differently, to see ourselves differently. Everyone say maka. It's not just I. Maka also refers to see, all of the things that have to do with the eye. And when you say maka and you add the word valu, as in 8, e valu, maka valu, it talks about having 8 eyes, being able to see the world differently, to recognize that there are different ways that we see things. As Ralph and I sit here, there is an inner man as well as an outer man. The inner being as well as the outer being. Well, the outer being has 2 eyes, 2 maka, makalua. The inner being also has 2 eyes, makalua. So when you add those together, that's 4 eyes, makaha. And yet, standing in front of Ralph, we're looking at one and I'm going, makaha, makaha, 4 plus 4, makavalu. 8 eyes. So while I may physically see the world one way, the spirit sees it another. In the same way that Ralph may see the world, his spirit sees it another way as well. So oftentimes when we're sitting in the room, it's not just us looking at eye to eye, but it's makavalu. Different ways of living. And after 80 years, you begin to see the world differently. Right? It's not what it was, but it also promises not to be what we think it's going to be. It's going to be what we make it. So happy birthday, Ha'oli Lahanau, the Ha that comes from within. Happy birthday. Now, while we're speaking the other day, it sounds to me that despite the fact that, yes, we all have challenges in Makavalu, we see things differently, things are looking up. Right? And why is that important? Because that morning I looked up and I saw that light. Today, as we look forward and look up, there's a saying in Hawaii, when things look down, look up. Yeah? When things look down, look up. You don't always have to be looking out to look right. Right? So when things look down, look up. And I have to say this because in Hawaii, there wasn't anything that we ever did, or kupuna ever did, without looking up. Because the traditions and the practices of what we did on the ground are guided by the signs in the heavens. We always looked to the heavens. Whether it was stars, whether it was planets, whether it was the sun, whether it was the birds, whether it was the clouds, whether it was the wind, we looked to the heavens because it guided us and told us what we needed to do on the ground. So when things look down, we look up. Right? So this is an image that my friend Herb Connie did, and it reminds us of our Kilolanis, those who look to the heavens for the signs, the whole Ailona. This is a picture of my friend Nainoa Thompson, who helped to guide Hokulea around the globe, this island called Earth, 40,000 plus miles in less than 3 years. You don't do that by not looking up. And he looked up, and here he is taking a reading, understanding, direction. Now, what's interesting, I really enjoyed your presentation your sharing last weekend, by the way. For those of you that weren't here, may not have heard, Reverend Tim is an astronomer, actually, by aspiration. Is that correct? Well, our kupuna, we're all astronomers. We always look to the heavens. And this is what we're doing here, is looking to the heavens to be guided by what's there. And what's interesting, Reverend Tim, you may appreciate this, but there's a concept that when you're looking to the stars, I think we've been told, scientists told us that the stars the furthest away are thousands, if not millions of years old. Is that true? You heard that? Right? So in other words, when they're flashing back at us, some of them may not even be there anymore. We're experiencing the past when we're looking to those stars. And what I find interesting is that here we have navigators of ancient times bringing these concepts and principles of navigating life forward for all of us to know, that says, look to the stars, look to the heavens, to move into the future. That's what Nainoa was doing in this picture. He's navigating his canoe. He's navigating, as we are all navigating, looking to the future by what? Looking to the past. Every star he's looking at is past. That is kupuna. That's ancestors. That is the past. That is our history, and yet we're relying on that history to get us to the future. Isn't that powerful? And many of us are arguing over or having a debate over the fact that, some of us are looking to that in a different way. We're all looking at the past in order to understand the future. And where are we doing it from? The present. And we have to be careful as we don't get caught in the past as we start navigating into the future. And Makahiki happens to be one of those times that we can actually challenge that. This is about challenging natural time versus artificial time. Artificial time is that calendar, it's that schedule, it's the thing that we begin to put down. And yet we all know, as with mice and men, the plans that we lay down sometimes just go awry. Natural time takes over. As we've heard today, going down the street 80 miles an hour, natural time. Right? Want to make up time? We never know. friends, family. My own father recently made his transition. 81 years he would be, October 1st. But it was a reminder that as some step out, we must step in. The opportunity is to fill the space, to fill the gap, so that we can continue as a family to move forward. So natural time, our kupuna looked to natural time, and one of the things they looked at the heavens was the moon. We call this Kaulana Mahina. This is the schedule. This is the calendar. And this calendar changes. It's not exact like the calendar that most of us run through. There's 3 different phases. Mahina Ho'onui, Mahina Poi Poi, and Mahina Emi. And we happen to be in the period of Mahina Poi Poi. How many of you saw the beautiful full moon the other night? Wasn't that beautiful? Mahialani. Well, tonight is La'au Kulua. This is the second of the La'au moons. We have La'au Kahi and La'au Kulua, the second. And it talks about the repeating of certain things. So 2 nights in a row. Now, there's an interesting about repeating. Remember, this is the time of La'au Kulua is the second night, and there's 2 different kinds of calendars. One for the fishermen and one for farmers. Lawai'a and Mahi'ai. So for those of you who want to go fishing, tonight's a good night. Go fishing. For those of you who want to plant, don't stick with the small stuff. Make the big stuff, right? To planting ulu trees, or mai'a, the banana. Now, spiritually, what this is really telling us, now is the time to cast your net. Now is the time to go deeper. Some of you may remember the story where Jesus and his disciples take the boat out. And Jesus says, go, keep going farther. And the disciples say, hey, bro, we've never been out this far before. Keep on going, brother. Go, go, go. And they keep going, and they sense this fear and anxiety. We haven't been this deep before. Keep on going. They're so far out, they can't see land. Oh, man. All of a sudden, this trepidation. Okay, right here. Stop. Drop your nets. Go. And they drop the nets, and for the first time, this ship starts to shake and move. And sure enough, they pull up this net. It's just filled with fish. To their surprise. Wow. You know, that message, fishing, the net, each net has eyes. The maka. And by casting those eyes into deeper places, sometimes dark places, sometimes we catch things we don't expect. Sometimes we have to look deep. We have to look beyond the shores, beyond the places of our comfort zones, to begin to catch the things that have been eluding us only because of our fear to leave the shore, to leave those places that are comfortable. And that's what Jesus was saying. He was saying, you got to go deeper. Sometimes you have to throw your nets in places you're not comfortable. This is the fishing. Yeah? And when you plant the tree like ulu. Ulu means to rise up. Ulu means to spread, to grow. So don't just plant a small plant, but plant the tree. They say when you plant ulu, you don't feed today, but you feed multiple generations. See, 80 years, you planted a tree, an ulu tree that feeds today. What plant will you plant now? Your birthday's on the 10th. But today is the opportunity to plant the tree, to plant the ulu tree for future generations. Now, what you plant is what we eventually reap, right? And so, this month happens to be called Mahoe Hope. The month before is Mahoe Mua. This is important because one says forward, one says back. One says first, one says follow. Why is this important? Because this month recognizes the weather is rainy and windy. That just kind of started, right? It was windy a couple of days. It started raining a lot. Interesting enough, natural time. Regardless of what we say, boom, here it is. Our kupuna have been watching this for thousands of years, and sure enough, that's what happened. All right? This is also when the sugarcane blossoms. But remember what I said, look up? There's also look down. Because when we look up at the sugarcane blossoms, we call the pua ko. The pua ko, or ko'ula, the red sugarcane blossom. When that happens, it tells us that the octopus is ready to be captured. This is beginning the octopus season. What happens on the mountains is happening in the sea. If I want to know what to catch in the ocean, I look to the mountains. If I want to know what's going on in the ocean, I look to the mountains. And vice versa. If I'm in the sea, I look to the ocean. When I see the he'e, I said, oh, the sugarcane is blossoming. Right? These are the connections. We are all related. Upstream to downstream. When things look down, look up. And when you understand what's going down here, look up. You see that? Our kupuna were very wise in this way. They made the connections. We're all connected. And so this reminds me of a term, kawamamua, kawamahope. Say this with me, kawamamua, kawamahope. The past is in the future is in the past. Interesting enough, mamua. Mamua means the time before. Right? So here's the timeline. I'm standing in the present. The time before yesterday and years before, which is actually yesterday. Mamua, the time before now, which is the past. Mahope, the time after, the time that follows the present, which is tomorrow. Right? So if I want to understand where I'm going tomorrow, it's important to know where I came from. I need to honor my past in order to navigate the future. But in either to do either one, honor the past and prepare for the future, I have to be present. If I'm not present, forget it. Right? Kawamamua, kawamahope. And so when you put these together, kawamamua, mahope, you become a full cup. You don't just get half the deal. You see? And what this shows is face to face. The past is looking at the future as much as the future is looking at the past. What we do today is going to affect those tomorrow. What those our ancestors did before affect us today. Regardless of what we want to what we want to claim, good, bad, or indifferent, it's all us. This is who we are. How we deal with that, how we respond to the gifts of good, bad, or indifferent, will also help those in the future deal with what we leave with them. This is a reminder that our behavior is important, not just to us now, but to those that follow, as well as to our ancestors that set the tone for us. Right? Kawamamua, kawamahope. And so the Makahiki season was very much a part of this for our kupuna, a very important time of year, because this is shortly after. In fact, we're entering this phase now, the difference between kau and ho'ilo. Ho'ilo is the time of wet, while kau is the time of dry. So we're just moving into that time period right now. And it was shortly thereafter that Makahiki, this was the sign that Makahiki was coming. So important was this time that our kupuna built monoliths. They built huge structures to honor and help them understand this. This is a heiau called Hapaiali'i on the island of Hawaii. This is at Keauhou. Interesting enough, Keauhou means the new beginning. This heiau, Hapaiali'i, talks about how these stones, you see those little stones up there? Right on those little corners. Now, mind you, this heiau was only rebuilt and reintroduced recently. It had been in disrepair for hundreds of years. And the minute they put it back together, I happened to be there the first summer solstice that it was. See those two rocks right there? The sun sat right in the middle of those two rocks. It didn't know that the machine had been broken for 600 years. It just kept on coming and coming and coming. In other words, our kupuna would stand here and watch as the sun would drop right on top or in between any of those stones. It would tell us when the arrival of Kane, Ku, Lono, or Kanaloa were here. Because all of these kupuna, all of these deities represented the different time periods. They guided us. When Kane was present, we did certain things. When Ku was present, we did certain things. And when Lono arrived, that was Makahiki. This was it. And I go back. So once again, this is a clock. Much like that one in England. You know the big round one? Yeah. That's ours over here. Yeah. So they look to the heavens in order to tell them what to do. Is it time to plant? Is it time to fight? Is it time for sleep? What time is it? This was natural time versus artificial time. And when that thing was broken, we started going, oh, we started doing this. And for some reason, things weren't in sync. But the minute we went back to that, it's all in sync. Again, like I said, after hundreds of years of being in disrepair, when they put the two rocks together, the sun dropped right where it's supposed to be, or where we're supposed to be. right? And so this is the time, Makahiki, when the different deity, the different seasons will leave. And this Makahiki is the time of Lono. And Reverend Tim, you did a great job talking us about, bringing us into that last week. The time of Lono. But Lono is known as the god or the deity of fertility, agriculture, rainfall, music, peace, and love, all of these things. But more so this concept of peace. Peace. That's the powerful concept. So in other words, Makahiki is also the time of peace. It is a time for us to reflect. It is a time for us to do different things. And what we do during this time of Makahiki is determined by each of these months. There are 4 months. Now, depending on which calendar, where we are in the procession, it means the moon and the stars is moving. Sometimes it's in November, other times in October. Sometimes it goes from October to February, sometimes it's November to March. It all depends. Right? But right now, we are entering in what some calendars call this Ikua, the first month, of the wet periods. The 3 next months are Velehu, Makali'i, and Kaelo. Each one has a particular characteristics. For instance, Ikua, the loud voice. That's when the thunder and lightning happens. All right? Velehu, the sifting of the ashes. This is because it was so wet and rainy outside that the families would come in and begin to move the ashes in their homes and begin to stoke the fires because it's beginning to get cold. This is the time to bring family in together. You can't do that when you're fighting. Right? Makali'i. That's the time that we're waiting for. That's the time when Pleiades, also known as Makali'i, appears on the horizon. It reminds us, now is the time. This is the time Lono returns from Tahiti. And interesting enough, each one of these entities is anchored in Tahiti. They come and they go. They come and they go. But what's interesting, Tahiti is not Tahiti as we know it, but the place of our ancestors. It's someplace much farther out. It's anywhere but here. That's Kahiki. It is an ancient time. It is a place of Po and the place of darkness. And from that place of darkness, they bring the light. That's what we wait for every year. That's the Maka that we're looking for. Kaelo, soggy and drenchy. That's kind of like January. That's when everything is wet. Right? It's just slosh, 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 drench, 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 a lot of rain. And so just by each of these words, these concepts, these ancient words, as you acclaimed earlier today, these guide us, they direct us. But we have to listen. We need to go back and understand what they mean what we say and say what we mean. So I said Ikua. When we talk about Ikua is actually a time of cleansing. It's not just this coming month, but it's actually an entire period of the 4 months I just talked about. Ikua is when the thunder and lightning happens in the mountains. And anyone knows that the time during Ikua is not the time to go hiking. And yet the helicopters fly every day to go pick people up. Somebody's not watching, right? We need to pay attention. Ikua is the time when the waters from the mountain and rain washes all the things that fell during the fall and takes all the things that have died and fallen out to the sea. The cleansing of the land. This is Ikua. I'm repeating, I told some of you this before, right? But Ikua, this is a shift from the dry to the wet. The replenishing of the mind and spirit when we've gone without for too long. The dry to the wet. And Ikua is a time when the surfers know you don't go surfing during this time. Why? Who remembers the story? That's right. The land is cleansing. Life is about balance. And all the food is going to the ocean. Guess who's cleansing the ocean? The Mano. Right? These are the big ocean sea cleaners that come in and say, food. Right? They know that nature has been feeding them. So natural time, brother, Ikua, let's go eat. And they come swimming in close to the shore, and we, in artificial time, invite all of our friends from the mainland and say, come, go surf with the fish. Cold in the mainland, warm over here, swim with the ocean, yeah. Help us clean the ocean. You see what happens when you pay attention? Natural time and artificial time. The time of cleansing, mountain and sea, body and mind and spirit. It's all connected. So after Ikua, we have this time, and then all of a sudden this thing appears, Makali'i. This is the time to clear the patches for the next planting. What does that sound like? To clear the patches for the next planting. Sounds like weeding to me. Yeah. So one thing I always remember my dad said, get in the yard, time for weed. That's why none of my friends like to come to the house, because next morning they're always weeding with us in the yard. But we have to weed. Sometimes we have to take all the stuff out in order to prepare. Sometimes remove the old plants to put the new plants in. This is Makahiki. This is the renewal. This is what we're going through. This is what you are now as a family of unity, the Ohana, as you celebrate your 80th anniversary, the time to clean out the old and plant the new. The time to honor the past, but prepare for the future with anticipation and hope. Because Makali'i, the little eyes, refers not to those just 7 sisters, the little eyes themselves, but it's about us looking at Makavalu, the little eyes within us. How do we see the world? It asks us to look at things differently and not just be guided by the things that brought us here before, called supply-side thought. The things that we've been supplied with is what we tend to do, view the world through. That's the lenses. Makali'i is a time to redo the lens, to think about looking at things differently. This is Makali'i. The time to clear the patches for the next planting. Interesting enough, it's also the time to plant potato. Oftentimes they say whether it's taro or potato, uwala. And what do potatoes have? Eyes. This is the time for potatoes. Potato, tomato, tomato, who knows? Whatever you call it, right? Potatoes. So with that little history and the instruction, I bring us to our title, the time of Re. And what do I mean by that? So if we follow each one of those months and the things that we're doing in those months, and we begin to look at this as the time of retreat. This is when we retreat from the land and we begin to go back and we start taking things out, put our weapons away, start going into the house, start cleaning things up, because it's a time to reflect, to look in. We've been looking out all year long. Now is the time to go in, to reflect and look at. It is also, as the prayer this morning said, to relax. The time is to relax. We've been working so hard all year. It's now the time to retreat, reflect, and relax. And during that time of relaxation, it is also the time to restore. Now, that doesn't mean putting stuff in the pantry. That's part of it. To restore the pantry, but to restore the soul, to restore the spirit, to restore my faith, restore my hope, to restore my relationships. Now is the time. Because once we can restore, that's when we can begin to renew. It is through the healing, as the word says today, to heal in order to be new. Because unfortunately, I don't think we can go back. There really is no going back anywhere. There is moving forward, and we can bring things from the past that we prefer and begin to project them onto our futures. That's the difference. We have the opportunity to do that. But we are not our artifacts.
Amen.
We are not our artifacts. And caution, because the minute we do, we become artifacts. Culture is live. We are alive. And therefore, we must live in the present, honor the past, and look to the future, not to be artifacts, but to be present. And to be able to do that. And so when you start looking at the time of Re, what we're really saying is step back. Look within, let go, heal, and begin again. This is the time of Makahiki, the natural time. You see, it's not just the time, but it's the behavior. So it's the time to retreat, so what do? You step back. When it's time to reflect, what do? You look within. And here's what's interesting, to really understand that, we're going to explore the word itself. Makahiki, ever say it? Makahiki. Makahiki. So as I've told you before, Hawaiian is rooted. There's multiple root words, and each word has its own energy and power, has its own meaning. And when you unpackage the word, stuff gets revealed. Revealed. Right? And in the process of being revealed, we rediscover. And in rediscovering Makahiki, look at this. From root to fruit, the root word produces things that become nutritious for us. Everybody say ah, e. Ah and E, fire and water. This is the time between fire and water, hot and cold, dry and wet. Makahiki. Now, those two root words. All right? It is makahiki. Go. Makahiki. Yeah, each one has its own meaning. Ma means internal. Ka is the notion of traveling. Hiki is the notion of water. You know why ki? the water shoots up. It's a rising, the standing up of this energy called this. He is the thing that moves up through us, as in hua and he. Wahine. That part of us that creates the life-giving waters. That's wahine, female, feminine. Okay, everyone say, ma kahiki. Ma. See, how you say the word in what order is very important. Ma kahiki. Ma is internal, the place within. Kahiki, the place that we came from. Ma kahiki is the time that we look to where we came from. In other words, our origins. It says, who are we? This is the time for identity. Redefine, reframe, refocus. Who am I? Who are we together? Ma kahiki. Right? This one, next one. Makahiki, go. Makahiki. Maka, to watch and look for. Hiki, an anticipation of the arrival. Hiki is, oh yeah, that works. Hiki no, it works. Okay, that's good. But hiki also means to arrive, to appear, to show up. You know, part of life, success, most of it is just about showing up. Right? You don't show up, it don't get done. So the reality is, we anticipate you to show up. If you don't show up, you don't eat. That's just part of the family dynamics, right? As family. You hungry? Show up. We'll feed you. Pretty good breakfast too, I hear. So then there's makahiki. Makahi. Kahi is the first thing within us that rose up. The first shot, the first arrow, the first bow, that's makahaki, the first thing. This is the first place that our ancestors come from. Something that our ancestors came from this place called the Pleiades, Makahiki. And therefore, this time of Makahiki is anticipating. This is the first opportunity for us to reflect. Everyone say Aka. Aka is the shadow. Aka is the spider's web that connects us. Aka is the mirror. It's the reflection. Remember the time of reflection. In the word Makahiki is the word Aka, reflect. But it also means reflect on our connections. Like the spider web, every one of us is connected. And everyone on that screen up there, everyone that's connected, all worldwide watching us right now, we're all connected. This is Aka. Yeah. Ahi, everybody say Ahi. Ahi is fire, it's heat, not just the fish. Ahi, aloha ahi ahi. We say good evening, the fire is going out, that's the sun. So within Makahiki, it talks about the fires of when, the fires of the home, the fires of the heart, the fires of the mind and spirit that gets stoked during this time. To reconnect to that fire within. Now here's an interesting one. Everyone say Iki. Hold your baby finger up. Iki. Baby finger. Okay? Interesting because the word Iki and Ili, Li'i, are all the same. There's little. Makali'i, makaiki, makahiki. Iki, ili, small. In other words, makahiki and makali'i are synonymous. And it also reminds us that sometimes we think we're a little bit too big than the next guy. It reminds us that really we're very small in the eyes of God. We're in the eyes of the world. We're very, very small. And it's when we connect to that thing much larger than us that we become family, that we begin to be nui. That's when we become family. And so each one of us, Iki, tied together, becomes the hand that feeds others. This is the time to come together, to put our weapons down, to shake hands, to hug, to play music, to dance hula, and to make peace. This is Makahiki. You see? So the land of the ancestors. This was Makahiki. But more importantly, this concept that Kahiki has 5 different levels. So I told you there are 5 different re's, 5 different reasons, but Kahiki had these 5 things. I'm not going to go through it all, but I want you to know it. Kahiki moi, Kahiki ku, Kahiki kapapa nu, Kahiki papalani. Each one of these things talks about the different levels of our relationship to the heavens and the skies. One is the horizon, one is just above that, one is above that, and one is right above me. Kahiki kapu I holani ke kuina. That says immediately above me is God. I'm connected directly to this. That is Kahiki, the place of origin that we all came from. This is the time to reconnect to the place that we all came from. The true source of life. That's what that is. And it talks about the connection, all right? And so there isn't an accident in the words we use. Makahiki, a time to anticipate. Now, Reverend Tim talked about the different times. During Makahiki, there are three things. There's a time to ho'okupu, to give gifts and to appreciate what was given to us. This is honoring the deity. This is honoring the past, honoring God and giving us the strength, the food, the nutrition, our families, and saying thank you. This is the time of mahalo, the time of gratitude. Right? But then there's a time to enjoy all of the stuff that we've been doing. That's the time of celebration. When we hula, we sing, we dance, we play. We love. We do all of that during this time. This is the time of peace. But then we plan for the future. Va'auhau. This is the time. Va'auhau is when you get in the canoe and get ready to go. The term va or wa is a time. This is the time to give offerings to ensure this is tithing. This is all about tithing. This is about making sure that we have invested in our future. We've taken from the past. But now it's time to give to the future. Interesting enough, we received from the past, we give to the future. Those two words themselves put together, to receive and give, that's the definition of a law. That's it. To give and receive. Not take, but to receive and to give. This is a law. So Makahiki is a time for Allah. If ever there was a time, it's now. The time is Makahiki. And that we want to make sure that we're doing this. And because this is the time, and you referenced it last week, ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono, the time to make right, to put things in proper order. Because ho'oponopono is when things are in proper alignment. Can you imagine? When things are in proper alignment, stuff's going to happen now. Right? When everything, it doesn't matter how big or small, when we start rotating, when we start spinning at the same speed, at the same tempo, in rhythm and harmony, things start happening. Right? In unity. Not in word, but in action. Easy to say unity, hard to make it happen. Because it's all about alignment. And sometimes the big guy in the middle thinks he's the one in charge. But believe it or not, everybody has a role in how this universe and this galaxy spins, right? If one person spins out, the whole thing crashes. Like our musicians. Can you imagine going to the ballet and the dancer's doing a wonderful flow and the guy in the back playing the timpani goes, boom. Whoa. One out-of-step rhythm. Somebody sneeze, somebody call, hey! I don't care how long that person practiced, how good you think you may be, one person makes a difference. During Makahiki, we embrace everybody. We bring everybody into the canoe. We bring everybody home, and we aloha them. Because this is the time of maluhia. Everybody say maluhia. Maluhia. Interesting enough, when you unpackage the word maluhia, it's more than just peace. Look at what maluhia means. It means serenity, stillness, peaceful, tranquility, safety, security, quiet. And kapu. Kapu means respect. Kapu means respect. See, so oftentimes we use the word peace and we're talking about in the absence of war, when really peace means much more than that. Right? Makahiki is a time for maluhia, to take cover under the things that nurture us. Like the mother hen that covers her chicks when the fox comes by. Right? It's being able to cover, to take cover, malu, during this time of peace. There is a riddle in Hawaiian, ho'oponopono. Ke kala o'uka, ke kala o'aina, ke kala o'kai. One talks about the mountains, one talks of the midlands, one talks of the sea. But the metaphor for this is kala. Release, cut, forgive, let go, in mind, body, and spirit. These are the three levels of ho'oponopono. To unify those three things, you have to let go. And in the word kala, that means to release. Kala, ho'okala, huikala, kalana. These are things we've talked about in the past. But I want you to recognize kala, 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 kala. That's the color of the day. Right? Is to kala, is to release. Because we don't want to take the old furniture into the new house. Then we wonder why we got termites in the new house. Right? We have to let the old go in order to move into the new. But here's the deal. I understand that it's simple but not easy. Letting go is hard. But, sometimes holding on is harder. Right? Everything around us telling us let go, and yet we hold on and hold on and hold on. And then we wonder why the newness can't enter the room. We have to get rid of the old furniture to invite the new furniture. Otherwise, it gets really crowded. Yeah? We have to create space where, not just in the room, in our minds and in our hearts. Because by creating space, the new can happen. This is Makahiki. Heva, Eha, the pains and everything, if we don't let those go, like the bowling ball, the chain, they just hold us back like an anchor. And we drag ourselves into the future, always connected to the past. It takes strength. It takes will. The weak can never forgive, he says. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Makahiki is time to be strong. Time to put the weapons down and have strength in our faith, in our ability to love, to ho'oponopono, to make right, to become aligned once again with others, breaking the chains of the past. Ho'oki, ho'oki, ho'o. Ho'o is to do, oki, to cut, to break, to free ourselves from the chains of the past, expectations, fears, anxieties, and begin to look at the aspirations and the hope of the future. And so let me close out with this. Ho'okala, this is a concept of forgiveness. This is the time. Makahiki is the time to ho'okala, to forgive. To do that, sometimes we have to o'o. We have to dig into the deep, dark places of our minds and our hearts. It's not easy, but it's something we need to do. And in the process of digging, we find and release things. Because kalana, let go. This is the time to let go of those things. Release. Right? Set it free, and in doing so, we are set free. We've heard that before. And in doing so, something replaces it. Release and replace with something of equal or greater value. And that greater thing that we replace the fear and anxiety with is mana olana. We call that hope. Everyone say hope. Hope. And that's what it is. We hope. With hope and faith, mana o i'o. With hope and faith, we step into the future, knowing that we can let go of the past as we honor it, but at the same time, plant seeds to get us to the next place, to feed ourselves as well as future generations. That's the power of Ohana. That's the kuleana of Ohana. Family, it's not just to take care of ourselves, but to take care of those around us and the families that we live. Everybody say, ho'aka. Ho'aka. Two different ways, and the way you say that gives you the manifestation. Ho'aka. We come out of Makahiki and we shine, brand new. This is the time of renewal. And if we do it right, we ho'aka. We laugh about it. We have a good time, we smile, we enjoy one another's presence. This is the time of ho'aka, to laugh, right? To be pleasant, to be present. This is Makahiki, right? And so, going back to the past to bring us to the future, your monthly mantra, divine zeal. Zeal is the affirmative impulse of existence. Its command is go forward. So with that, I close my thoughts for today and sharing with you by saying holomua. Because in Hawaiian, holomua means improvement. It also means progress. But most of all, it means go forward. Holomua. 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 Thank you.
When you look back on times we had, I hope you smile. You know that through the good and through the bad, God was on our side and nobody could hold us down. We claimed the brightest star and we came so far, and no, we won't forget. Whenever you remember times gone by, remember how we held our heads so high when all this world was there for us, and we believed that we Whenever you remember, God is there. Remember how we reached that dream together. Whenever you remember, when you think back on all we've done, I hope you're proud when you look back and see how far we've come. It was our time to shine, and nobody could hold us down. They thought they'd see us fall, and we stood so tall. And no, we won't forget. Whenever you remember times gone by, remember how we held our heads so high when all this world was there for us, and we believed that we could touch the sky. Remember you remember, God is there. Whenever we remember dreams together. Whenever you remember, we claim the brightest star, and we came so far. You know, we showed them all, and no, we won't forget. Whenever we remember times gone by, remember how we held our heads so high when all this world was there for us, and we believed that we could touch the sky. Remember how you remember, God is there. Remember how we reached that dream together. Whenever you remember, whenever you remember.
Well, that was an amazing message, and I'm going to listen to it a couple more times. There is a lot of content there that really speaks directly to where we're at. And I so appreciate it. Thank you, Kumu, Ramsey, Tom. Yeah, thank you for all your work in the community and for being here. And now we come to this time of circulating, tithing, celebrating our divine abundance. And as was said, Makahiki is that time of sharing, giving gifts, tithing. And so we encourage each and every one of you to tithe, to give generously, to open your hearts. And as we do that, we place our offering over our hearts, giving thanks for all the ways in which we are blessed, giving thanks for all the ways in which we express abundance. We give from our hearts, not from our heads, not from obligation. We give from our hearts. We give from that spirit, knowing that there is no lack or absence of God anywhere, and that all our needs are supplied. We give generously, openly, and in love. And for all of this, we say together, and so it is. Amen. Amen.
Woke up this morning, something wasn't right. My poor head was a-throbbing, 'cause I tossed and turned all night. This unfamiliar feeling, it shook me up inside. The truth it was revealing that a part of me had died. So I called my higher self, and she gave me the bad news. Your life is just too good, you lost the right to sing the blues. That broken down old Chevy that was eating me alive, well, I visualized a Lexus, now it's parked out in my drive. That man of mine, that scoundrel, that rotten low-down bum, I transformed him into a love god with a sizable trust fund. Now everywhere I look, I get confronted with the clues. When life gets this darn good, you lost the right to sing the blues. You can sing the blues if you can't pay your rent. And you can sing the blues if all your money has been spent. How can I sing the blues? I ain't got no excuse. When I'm driving in my Porsche on the way to my masseuse. So you won't find me wailing late at night in some smoky bar. And you won't hear me crying tears into my old guitar. I'll be cleaning out my chakras and chasing bad karma away. Fluffing up my aura, darling, that can take all day. Now that I'm enlightened, I just got to spread the news. When life gets this darn good, you lost the right to sing the blues. Play the blues. Whoa! Woo! Sing it. That's my man Kevin right there, you know. You can sing the blues if your best friend puts you down. And you can sing the blues if your man has done left town. How can I have the right to sing that mournful tune when I'm steaming with my honey in my sauna in Cancun? So now you heard my story and you understand the pain of searching but not finding any reason to complain. My stars are in alignment, my house has been feng shuied, I'm filled with peace and harmony, my bills have all been paid. I let go of the struggle, you know I paid my dues. When life gets this darn good, you lost the right to sing the blue. Whoa, whoa. Yes! God bless you all. Every day.
Woo! I told Kumu, I said, I'm sorry, I got to get up and dance. You know, thank you, Ray. It's good to have you here. As we extend our hands to this offering, we bless this offering knowing it represents infinite substance of which there is no lack or limitation, knowing we do not have the right to sing the blues, but that we are prospered, blessed, and propelled forth to be the presence, light, and grace of God. And for all of this, we are grateful, and we say together, and so it is. Amen. Amen. Well, thank you for being here today. And if this is your first time here or first time in a long time, if we haven't gotten to connect yet, feel free to come to the front of the line. The ushers would be glad to bring you to the front of the line so that we can greet one another. And remember, we have an awesome breakfast over here, and it's so good to have you here. Let's join a friendly hand and sing together our peace song and then Aloha Oe.
Amen.